Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about CHOC. Joining Adrienne and myself now is from the community, Deborah Miller. You are the Community Care Coordinator for Isaacs.
I am.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
You volunteer with CHOC and you also are involved with Isaacs' involvement. So how did you get involved volunteering?
Well, I have to be honest and say my story starts a bit self-serving.
Okay.
At Isaacs, one of my jobs is to get opportunities for employees to volunteer. And I kind of try to do a whole different variety. We do the Humane League, we do retirement centers, we do Water Street. I wanted to do something with homeless people. And so I was looking for an opportunity, and I go to First United Methodist Church in downtown Lancaster. And they are one of the 8 host churches for the Women's Emergency Overnight Winter Shelter. So that's how I got started.
Okay, and when was that?
That was December of 2009.
Okay. So from there, it just kind of grew, right?
It did. The first night we were there, I took a group of 7 or 8 Isaacs employees. And there's a whole process of checking people in. And actually, we're fortunate we have showers there. So we actually can let them shower there. And we let them there for the night. They leave the next morning, they get their vouchers to go eat. And then they're at CHOC for the day. They come back the next night. I remember going home that night feeling really empty because I felt like I hadn't really connected with the women. And we were sort of just taking care of their physical needs. And I felt a desire in my heart to do something deeper than that. So I came back another week and another week. And I realized you take a name and you put it with a face. And it's not just a homeless person anymore. It's an individual. And I would see the women walking on the streets. And I would pull over and I would talk to them. I was looking for something that I felt I could do for the community. And I think I found it with these women.
So what does that do for you, Deborah, seriously?
You know, I truly believe that we all have something to give. And we all can give at different levels. You know, some can easily write a check. And you know, CHOC needs money and we need those people who can write checks. We have people who are great with collecting items for them because I realized simple things like homeless women need clean underwear. So I started a drive and I collected underwear and clothing and socks. And one of my friends collected hundreds of pairs. And I really feel like she had this gift of volunteering in a different capacity. And then I just really wanted to get to know these women on a very personal level. And since the Women's Shelter Program ended in March, I now am a mentor to a homeless woman who was part of the church program through TLC. So that's sort of my ongoing thing now, is mentoring this woman.
So what's involved with that?
With TLC's program?
With the mentoring program, yes.
The commitment I don't think is big at all as far as time. We talk or text weekly, we get together. The requirement is once a month, but we get together at least twice. And the caseworker's job primarily ends when they go into their own independent living. And we call them a match. She lives on her own now. But I'm sort of just there to walk the next year or two. And for me, I think it's a lifetime friendship with her and be there to go through her ups and downs and kind of be a friend, but also make sure that she stays on the right track.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Isaacs is very involved with the community. Very much so. Talk about the involvement that Isaac specifically has with CHOC, and I believe there's something coming up, too.
There's something very exciting coming up. Get your calendars out.
Yes.
November the 17th is right in the middle of National Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week. And we are doing at all 7 Lancaster County Isaacs from 5 to 9 p.m., what we call a community night fundraiser. And anyone who comes out to eat, we're going to be donating 20% of all evening sales that night to CHOC.
That's wonderful.
Very exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then the day after that?
And the day after that, CHOC will be having an open house on November 18th, and that'll be to celebrate our 3rd anniversary of being a center.
Okay.
It's our birthday.
Yes,
yes.
birthday. Your birthday. Yeah. Right now, as far as men and women, are there more women, more men, children? Who is this servicing?
When we were there in the churches from December to the end of March, our full capacity, I think we had 21 one night.
Okay.
And I know one woman had a child, and then I heard of another family, but I never was involved with them because I wasn't there every night. and they really are all ages and all ethnicities and all levels of education. You know, one person was checking books out of the library. You know, it really challenged my personal prejudices. We have a face of homelessness, and I think it's really changed. You know, so many people live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And, you know, I leave the shelter feeling so blessed because I have family who loves me and and friends who I really believe will be there for me if I'm ever in a bad situation. But boy, I feel so sad when you have nobody and you're out on the street.
And that's what it is. It's a support network. For those of us that have, you know, families and friends, and where CHOC comes in, they become this support family and network, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
It's interesting because these women sort of became a band together, and like all winter long, they sort of stuck together and they went from church to church to church. And now I do know a lot of them do have their own housing, which I think is really exciting. And we're getting ready to start the winter shelter program again in December.
Okay.
And I already, December 7th, have my Isaacs employees lined up.
There you go.
It's part of our company culture, you know, is giving back to the communities that have made us successful, you know, as far as a successful for-profit entity. And we really feel very obligated, and now it's really part of who we are. And Phil Wenger talks about it all the time, is giving back to the communities financially and through volunteer hours. And it's really changing the culture of who we are by getting employees to volunteer.
And what you're doing is you're changing our community.
I think so.
Like we talked about, one person at a time, one employee at a time. It's becoming aware and seeing what's going on and being a part of making a difference for the better.
Absolutely. And somehow working with these homeless women has also really touched a lot of, especially the women I work with, are really interested in that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us today and sharing. We can make a difference. You can go online or call the phone number that we have. We'd like to say thank you to Flowers by Paulette for the flowers, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Diane Dayton, and remember, keep looking behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.